Welcome everyone to the Monday Q&A setup call. We'll begin the call shortly. Just 1 second. Let's wait just a little bit of time so people have a chance to join in. I see several have already joined, so welcome everyone. How's everyone doing today? My name is Luis, and I work as IT support for the Investment Dominator, and I will be hosting this call tonight. So you might be wondering what this call is about, the setup call. So this call is about everything that we need to do so you can get started using the Investment Dominator. All right. Additionally, once we are through the presentation that I have prepared for you tonight, we'll also take questions that you might have and try to answer them live on this call. All right. Great. So you're probably wondering, how do you send in those questions? So you have to join in. Then you click on chat or on questions, and then you submit a live question for the stream. And then I can see those and try to answer them. Hey, Annie, how are you doing? I hope you're doing well. So that's how you submit those questions. And then we'll try to answer them live. And then any questions not answered that I'm not able to answer tonight, they will be saved for the start of the next session. And finally, it's worth noting that these calls are being recorded and will eventually be posted on the user guide. In the case of the Monday call, we have done this call weekly, so you don't really necessarily have to wait for the replay. You can just watch the previous replay, and it's the same information. All right. Great. So let's see what's next. So I want to spend just a couple minutes talking about the LPG deal flow. So this is a way in which we recommend or we teach you do your business, right? So the very first thing you have to do is to select a target market. And then you need to choose where you're going to, what place you're going to test or you're going to do business in, right? So you need to put a lot of thought into this. You need to select the right target market based on several criteria, which is all teaching on the LPG, right? So you need to do your work and select some target markets, or if you're already set up to select the right target market, right? Once you have that, the next thing is to get a contact list of landowners of said target market and to filter the list. So what this means is you have to get some records to your system so you can mail out to that county or to that market. So you have several ways of getting this data. You can get it straight from the county. You can get it from a third-party company that can provide this information to you, and you will need to filter. In those two cases, you will need to filter the list still, so it can be imported into the Investment Dominator. So, and I see this is a very common problem, or an issue that people submit tickets about. It's why isn't this list imported? And that's because it doesn't meet the requirements to be imported into Investment Dominator. It has to be specifically converted or filtered to fit into the Investment Dominator. And the last way to easily get records is actually with the data service integration that we have just relaunched actually a couple weeks ago. Well, not relaunched, but we did a substantial update to it, so you can do a lot more things that weren't possible before. And I believe we looked into that on the Q&A call, but if you have questions about it, just let us know, and we will look into that integration. But yeah, you can do so much more now with that integration. It is very easy to get data into your system. There's nothing external. You select the county, or you can even draw a polygon on the map, so you can filter by area and get records straight away. You can mail them out in the same day or the same within a couple minutes. You can actually mail out records. It's very easy to get lists these days. And then once you have the list and you have it imported into the system, the next step is to mail letters and talk to sellers. So you will mail out the neutral letters generally. And then you will get some calls back, people that are interested in hearing and getting an offer from you, or they will submit it on your website or email. And then once you get those calls, what you need to do is you need to conduct preliminary research on the property so you can come up with an offer. So you are researching the property value, based on comparable properties around it, on all of that. And then the system will actually come up with an offer amount for you, or a limit, right? There's a high offer and a middle and a low offer, and then you can select what is the offer that you want to mail out to them, right? So once you have done your preliminary research, I believe the letter says it takes, or the page says maybe like a week. You have about a week to do your preliminary research. And then, but actually you need to mail it out, so it takes a couple of days. You probably want to get to that. Then you mail out your offers / option agreements, and then they will hopefully accept your offer, right? And if they do, the next step, if they accepted the offer that you have mailed out to them, you need to do open escrow on the property. So that's detailed research. You are prepared to market the property, right? You are coming up with, the sale price, or you're coming up with the pictures of the property. You're coming up with the wording, right? It's very important that you actually market the property, because how else is it going to be sold? There are actually a few other options, like the neighbor letter, right? You can mail out neighbor letters in the system, but you need to work on the marketing of the property, and this is where you do that, right? You're doing detailed research. You need to have the data, the information in the system needs to match what is actually happening in the property, right? And then the next step, once that's ready, you need to market the property, and you would do that with or without owner financing. That's really up to your business. Of course, it's easier if you offer financing. It's easier to do deals, but that does depend. It's always us to get paid in cash, right? And then the last one is to sell the property and close to get paid. And that's the LPG deal flow, explained very quickly. And then let's just go over this picture, where on the left side of this screen, you have information that you will input into the system, and on the right side, you have stuff that the Investment Dominator will output for you. So you will enter your company information, county property / owner data, offer requests, which you get by phone or by website, property details, tasks, prospects / leads / buyers, transaction information, lead tracking information, notes, which is owner financing, and then the system will output for you letter campaign, so you can easily mail out those thousands of neutral letters at a time, offers, websites. So we actually provide two websites for you, right? There's the buying side and the selling website, the calculators / tools, which you can utilize to come up with offers, etc. You have reports / analytics, and then you have team management. So you can actually add people that work with you, that can work on the same system at the same time, right? You can assign them tasks, you can assign them permissions, so they only have access to what they will do in your system. There will be records of everything that they do. Every action is logged on the activity log of everyone who works in your system. All of that is part of the team management that we have. It's a scalable system. You can have several virtual assistants working with you, or you have a partner, or all of that. All of that can be handled within the Investment Dominator CRM. All right. So having said that, on this call, right away we will cover how to add your company information, which is your company phone number and phone systems, your mailing address, for the direct mail campaigns, settings for realtors / brokers. You might be required to disclose that. You would be required to disclose that if you are one. to configure your profile, set up your signature, set up your support contact info, how to create a custom domain for buying and selling sites, how to register and update your domain, securing your domain /SSL, and then on the support side, how to create a ticket. So you can get in contact with us. You can wait until we have these live calls, or you can submit a support ticket, and we can get you can get support that way quicker, right? And then any questions that you may have tonight will be answered at the end of the presentation. Okay. So I think we are ready to show the Investment Dominator. So let's just jump right ahead. And again, on this call, we'll go over the big three. So that's the profile section, the company information, and your buying and selling website. So the first thing I want to show everyone, and before you do any of this, any of the imports, before you worry about mailing letters, you need to spend some time and do this initial setup. If you skip on this process, it will come back later to you, and it will be a problem. So let's just go ahead and spend some time on this. You want to go to profile, my profile, and you want to fill out this information. So you want to fill out your first name and your last name. This will actually be under letters. So go ahead and fill however you want to be on your letters. And then you have the email and the phone number. Those are actually not used for your letters. So this is contact information for us. And then, so just fill out what you're comfortable with sharing with us, but it's not going to be on your letters or your website, anything like that. It's not public. And then you have your own time zone, so your personal time zone, you can set it here. And then the one that you have to spend time and set is the signature image. So you do have a marketing signature that will be used in your newsletters. Since you're mailing out thousands of those, potentially every week, you want to use a marketing signature on those, and this is where you would set it. So you have two options. You can upload your own image. If you have it in an image format in your computer, you can easily do that, or you can generate your own signature. Since this is a marketing signature, you can just click on here, and then you input your name. So you will do your name, and then you select the fonts. You have several fonts to choose from, right? Just select your favorite fonts from here. I'm going to go with this one. And then you have the option to add color to your signature. So if you want to change the color of the signature to say blue, typically the letters would be printed black and white. But if you want to do it in color, if you want to add, say, your company logo into your newsletters, and then you want to go color, you can also use the color signature. Or you can go from black and white. Since you're mailing volume, it will be, of course, cheaper to do that. But if you like the color, a little bit of color, you can go ahead and click on Insert Signature. And then you're going to get a preview of your signature. This is how your signature is going to look like. And then any of these changes I've showed you so far, if you close this window or you go elsewhere, nothing is going to be saved. You need to scroll down a little bit and then find the update button, and then you want to hit that button. So actually, any of the changes I'm making are saved. So you always need to remember, if you don't actually save your progress, you're going to lose it, right? That's a fact of life. So let's go ahead and click on Save. And now my signature is the one I just generated. And then if you want to actually use a picture, like I told you, you click on here, Select Image, and you find the picture in your system, and then just double click, and then you're going to be sent to this system where you can crop it. So you need to crop the picture. It needs to fit within a certain size, right? So you can really upload a really big picture or a really I don't know, a really tall picture or whatever. It needs to fit within a rectangle that is just, reasonable, right? So you need to click, drag, and then once you're happy with how it will look, of course, this triangle is how the signature will look, and then the gray will be cropped out. So once I'm happy, I just click confirm, and here's how it would look, my preview of the signature. If I'm happy, I just click on update, and that's my signature now, right? So that's very simple. Next up, we have password. So you can change your password in here. So that's very, very self-explanatory. The profile picture. So that works in the same way that I told you for the signature. You just find the image. So you want to do your own picture. If you have a team and then you're all working together on the system, the reason we have this profile picture is in the tasks. We have a task calendar view, and then any task that everyone on your team is actually tasked will appear here, and then they will have an icon with your face, right? So it's easy to know what everyone in your team is up to. That's the idea. That's why it was added, and you would just find the image in your system, right? Then you would just crop it, and then just click on confirm, and then just save it. It just works exactly how I told you about the signature, and that's why we have the profile picture for. And then the enable tour. So as you may know, the very first time that you go into the Investment Dominator, you are greeted by a welcome tour, right? And I recommend you go through that once. And then once you go through it, you can come here and just disable it so it never shows up again. You set that to no, and it will never show up again. Then you have view preferences. This is just basically like I showed you on the tasks. You have different views for your for every section, for land, houses, marketing notes, and tasks. You have the list view, you have the card view, and then you have the calendar in the case of the task, right? If you have a preference for it, if you don't want to see the calendar, you would rather see a list. The first time you click on tasks, this is where you would set that up. And I don't necessarily recommend you change that, but if you want to know why it's here, this is where you change that, right? You change that here to list view, and that will be the default view for this section of the system, right? We have land, house, marketing notes, and tasks here. All right, and then lastly, the last section of the profile is the notification settings. So this email and phone number are actually used only for task reminders. So if you have a task assigned in here, you will get an email reminder and an SMS notification. And then if you want to set your email here, your contact email here, you want it to be different from the notification email. Let's say you want to have your own email here, but you want to use your work email down here. You just set the notification email as that, and then your notification phone number, and that's where we will be sending out the task notifications to. Again, this is actually an optional thing. If you don't use it, we'll just use the ones at the top, and that's only for tasks. So eventually, you may be interested in adding tasks to your team members and all of that, and that's what this is here for. So just click on update, and then we're actually done with this very first section. This is the shortest section. So let's go ahead and jump into the company information, right? And then when you go into company information, you will see there's actually a lot more in this section, right? See how it scrolls down just a little bit? But don't worry, we'll go through every part of the company information that you need to spend some time and set it up, right? You may see that there's a company phone, but there's also two more phone numbers here. If I skip just a little bit, there's the offer phone, and then there's the selling side phone. So there are three different phone numbers. You may be wondering, Why is that? Why are there three different phone lines in here? My answer would be, let's go over to the help and the user guide, and then let's look at the recent article. We have a recommended uh, phone setup for you in this article. So if you read this article, the recommended RingCentral setup, you will see that we have either two recommendations. There's a 2-line setup and a 3-line setup. We recommend you get a virtual phone service, and then that you just forward those virtual phones to your own line, to your own cell phone. And then you have two options, the 2-line setup and the 3-line setup. And the only difference is it's going to be just a little bit cheaper to have 2 virtual phones versus 3 virtual phones. The 2-line setup would look like this. There's a local number 1 and a local number 2. These are virtual phones, but we recommend that you use RingCentral for this. You don't have to use RingCentral. It's not a requirement. You can use another service. You can set it up in another way, but this is just a recommendation. We know that it works well. We have this article on how to set it up. That's all. You're not required to use it, right? We have this virtual local number 1, and then you have an extension 1. It's request and offer. So when you send out the newsletters, this phone number, local number 1, extension 1, is going to be on them. So when people call in and request an offer from you, we recommend that you don't actually take that call. And the reason for that is because you should be getting a significant amount of people interested in getting an offer from you. We recommend that you instead get a call center's virtual assistant to take care of those calls for you, as it's just a very repetitive process, right? And we recommend PadLive. So you can see this, the PadLive phone number, landcalls.com. You can sign up for this service if you want. You can get their service, and then they can take care of all of the requests and offers from you, right? And then the local number 1, extension 2, is questions about your offers. So these are people that have received an offer from you and they have a question, or they will accept your offer, right? So you actually want this line to be forwarded to your cell phone, and you want to answer this yourself. As it's people that have questions about the offers that you have sent to them. You don't want to leave that to a call center. You want to take care of the business yourself, right? So that gets forwarded to your cell phone. And then you have the local number 2, which is questions about land for sale. So this is your selling side phone. When you have land for sale on your selling side, this is the phone number that is shown, the local number 2. And then you also want to answer those calls yourself, right? Because it's people that have questions about the property you have for sale. You are the one that knows about the properties. You want to answer the calls yourself. So that's the 2-line setup. It would look like this in the system. Local number 1, extension 1 is the company phone. So it will look like this. Local number 1, extension 1. The local number 1, extension 2 is your offer phone. So it will look like this, the same number as the company phone, the extension 2, and then the selling side phone is a separate local number 2. So it would be a different phone number. And then we have the 3-line setup, and it's the same thing. The only thing is we are not dealing with extensions. As I understand, some people don't like dealing with those. They think it might be better to just have 3 separate phone lines that they can call in if they want to call in. That they don't like dealing with the extension. So it's just better to have 3 different local numbers, virtual phone numbers. So in the case of the 3-line setup, it's local number 1. It's the same, requests and offers. So this is the company phone, which is not dealing with extensions. Then the local number 2 is questions about your offers. It too will forward to your cell phone. You take those calls yourself, but it will be a different phone than the company phone, right? Your offer phone will be different. would not be the same, right? And then the local number 3, questions about land for sale, again, a separate virtual phone, and it will be set up here. And this is pretty much the setup. You do have to do some work inside of Ring Central or whichever virtual phone service you are using. I know there some people use Google Phone, I believe. There are others that you can use as well, right? And but this one has a setup article, right? How to route and forward, all of that stuff. It does have all of this information. And before you mail out letters, be sure to test that your phone system is actually correctly set up, right? You take the time to do that. Be sure that it all works, because remember, this will be printed on letters. So you want to make sure that they can contact you and that everything works before you mail out for real, right? So that's pretty much it for the phone numbers, right? I hope I was able to assist you there, why there are 3 different phone numbers and all of that. Then we have the company fax. So if you do have a company fax, it will appear on their contact us page on your buying side, and on the offer cover letter, you can just set it up here, and that's it. Then there's the company email. So we actually have 3 emails as well. We have the company email, the offer email, and the selling site email. However, in the case of the emails, I would say that it's actually optional to set up the offer email and the selling site email. If you don't set those up, they will just be using the company email, right? However, if you want to take the time to separate those, remember, the company email is going to be on the contact us page and on the offer cover letter, and then and on your letters, right? And then the offer email, it will be only for offers that you mail out, right? And then the selling site email, it will only be used on your selling site when you're selling land to people. So it might be worth the time to separate those 3 and keep 3 different inboxes, right? You can maybe do offers at yoursite.com, etc., right? You can do that, and then if you do, just be sure to always be checking those inboxes, right? Imagine if you get questions about your offers that you're mailing out, or someone accepted your offer and then you fail to check this email, so that will be bad business, right? If you do have set those 3 inboxes, be sure to have them and to check them constantly, right? To keep them open. That would be my one thing to mention. But basically, that's the 3 different emails. And then we come down to company name. So if you have already have a company set up, an LLC or other type of business, just set it up here. And it's going to be on your letters. It's going to be on your envelopes. It's going to be all over, right? So set it up here. If your company is not actually fully set up, I would recommend that you start doing business like this, like with the company name set like this, because it's not a given that it will actually be set up with as this name, right? Maybe it's already taken. Maybe for whatever reason you don't get that company name. Instead, if you're just starting out, you can actually start mailing out records. Letters like this. You can start doing business as, and then put your name here, right? And then you can start mailing out letters under your name. And then once your company is actually fully set up, you can come back here and then set it now, right? That's my recommendation, that you don't start mailing out letters as a company name. That's not actually fully yours yet, right? That's what I understand. This is not the best recommendation, because imagine that you're mailing out a lot of letters and then you don't actually get the company name, right? You might get in some confusion there. That's why we would recommend that you set start as DBA and then your name, right? That's awesome. And then we have company address, city, state, and zip. So yeah, I imagine the majority of us are working from home. So you would think, I'm going to put my home address in here. And if you have an office, if your business has an office that is separate from your home, I would recommend that you use that, right? But if you have a home office, you work from home, my recommendation is that you do not enter your company information. I mean your home address as the company address. The reason for that is because you're mailing out thousands of letters, and then your home address will be the return address for every one of those letters. You never know who you're mailing to. Some people may get offended of getting an offer from you or even getting a letter from you. So it would just be a better idea to instead go to the UPS store and get a PO box there, right? And then you can just put the UPS store address here and the zip and the city, and then you can just instead use that as your company address rather than dealing with inserting your home address to thousands of letters that you're mailing out, right? That's our recommendation, that you do not use your home address in this section, right? Again, if you're happy to do that, go ahead. It's not a requirement. It's just we do not necessarily recommend that, right? So that's it for all this. Next up, we have gone through offer phone and email, selling side phone and email. Next up, we have the company time zone. So this is the general time zone for all your company. Again, you may have different people working with you with different time zones. This is the general company time zone. And then this is actually affected on the letters. So on the neutral letter, if you go Eastern time, it will actually say we do business. By default, it will say we do business 9 to 5 Eastern time, right? So this is where it would change that. So that's why it's here. Company notes, just if you have notes for the company. And then we've come to a section that I mentioned earlier very briefly, the real estate agent / broker disclosure. So if you are not a real estate agent, just leave that as no, right? But if you are one, you are required to disclose it, or you may be required to disclose it. Not entirely sure of that, but if you are required to disclose it, you set that to yes. And then here is the agent disclosure that will be on your letters. If you need to change this, you have the option to change this disclosure slightly. So just put your actual disclosure here, but do note that we have this option, and then it will be on your letters if you are you need to disclosure that, right? This is the section where you want to set that up. All right. And then the last one we have is the tax ID type. So we have SSN, TIN, and EIN. You can enter your information here, and it's completely secure, and it's all fine. This is actually an optional field. You do not need to fill this one. The only reason you will be required to fill this field is if you are using the Actum integration. So that's an integration we have for automated payments. So let's say you have a property for sale. You sell a property, and then you open a note in the Investment Dominator, and then you want to get automated payments every month from that note. You need to you can do that with this Actum integration that we have. And then one of the requirements is to actually enter your tax ID information, right? That's the only reason it's there. If you're not using that integration, you do not need to fill this at this time, right? You can leave it blank, and it's not required other than for that, right? So with that, we have gone through all of the company information. Let's you be sure to go to the bottom and to click on update so everything gets saved, right? Always remember to do that, because if you fail to do that, it's all going to get lost. I'm sorry, but do remember to do that. And then the last part that we have for today is your website. So as you may know, you have two different websites in the Investment Dominator. You have a buying website and a selling website. The websites are there for you from the beginning. And you can see here, you can go there, and this is your website. Go there, and this is my website, right? However, do you really want you to mail out letters that say investmentdominator.com and then your CRM number? You probably don't want to do that, right? This will be on your letters. What you want to do instead is purchase two domains and then link those to these websites, and then you can mail out or you can link the domain to this website, and then you can just use that domain as your company website, right? So you do want to do that again before you mail out the letters, because that's on the letters. If you do any marketing, you want to spend the time and do this website setup. So the way you do that, you need to purchase again two domains. We recommend as a company GoDaddy. So GoDaddy is a domain provider. They are one of the most popular in the world. You do not have to use GoDaddy. This is not a requirement. Again, you can use Google domains. You can use another domain provider, and they work, right? This is just a recommendation. And then we have an article that goes step by step on how to purchase the domains and then how to link them to your website, right? It's all here on this article. So it's called How to Configure Your Website Domain with GoDaddy, Custom Domains. And then we have the entire, to register a domain, you need to sign in, you need to purchase your domains. So you need to purchase two domains, one for your buying site and one for your selling site. Once you have decided on those domains and you have purchased them, you need to go into the domain here, click on View Domain Settings, right? Just like this. Click on DNS and then Manage Zones. And it's worth noting that you have to do this for the buying side and for the selling side. It's a one-time step process that you have to do. You have to do it for both sides one time, right? So you click on Manage Zones, and then it's going to take you to, sorry about that. It's going to take you to you need to search for the domain again, just enter it here. And then you will be sent to this DNS management screen. So you need to go to the records section, and then you need to find the CNAME. The type has to be CNAME, and then the name has to be www, right? Then you need to click on the pencil icon here, okay? And then you need to edit. That's why this is the edit icon. So you click on that, and then the points to originally is going to be at, right? Points to at. You need to remove that at sign, and then you change it to investmentdominator.com. So in here, the text has to say investmentdominator.com. And then the time to live, you have to change it from 1 hour, which is the default. You change it to custom, and then you change it to 600 seconds, right? And then you just click save. Okay, that has to happen for both domains. And then you scroll down just a little bit from the record section. It's going to be the forwarding section. You also need to do this step. This is the final step that you have to go over at GoDaddy or your domain provider. You click on domain, you click on add. Okay, you just click on that button, and then you're going to be taken to this screen. What you need to do in here is you leave it as HTTP. Be sure that it says HTTP on this side, not HTTPS. HTTPS, it needs to be HTTP. And then you enter your website, www.yourwebsite.com in here. And then the forwarding tab has to be permanent. And then you just click save, right? This is what the article says. I'm just following the article step by step. Just click save, and then you are done on the GoDaddy section, right? You need to do this twice for your buy site and once for your website site. I mean, you need to do it once for your buy site and once for your selling site, right? Then you are done with GoDaddy. You don't have to do anything else on GoDaddy. And then you go over back to the Investment Dominator here, and you will to customize buying site settings. And what you have to do is you need to link the domain that you have purchased and set up over at GoDaddy. You go in here and then you set it up here. So yourdomain.com, and then this is just telling you, have you actually done the forwarding, the CNAME, set up the CNAME to point to Investment Dominator, which is one of the 2 steps that we did. So you check that and just click next, like here, and that's pretty much it. There is a second step that you have to do, right? You go ahead, click next, and then at the end, there's gonna be a button that says, click here to generate your SSL, to secure your domain, okay? So this is the final screen that you get. Change your buy-side domain. It will, at the end, it will say your domain was changed. Please use your new domain to access again. You want to click at this button at the bottom that says, click here to secure your domain. And the reason for this is your domain in Investment Dominator, if you skip on this step, it will be a red lock. It means that it's not secure, your site. You need to use, we actually offer everyone 2 free SSLs, one for your buying side and one for your selling side. So if the domain provider is trying to sell you SSL, you probably don't want to buy it because the Investment Dominator will actually provide those to you for free. So you only want the domains. You don't want to buy a website. You don't want to buy SSL. Just the domains will do. And then you just need to go into here. Once you set up your domain, you click here to secure your domain. And then you're going to be taken to this screen that says generate SSL. You just click on that button, wait just a little bit. It does take a little bit to set up. And then your domain will be secured. That's all you have to do. Now you will be finished with the configuration for your site, for your buying side. You need to do the same for the selling side, and then you're done. That is actually the big tree setup. Once you have fully done everything that we mentioned on this call, you should be ready to start importing records, start mailing out letters. You can start changing your websites, all of that fun stuff. So do spend some time working on this initial setup. Let's see what questions we have, because I see we have some comments. Let's see. Will these be automatically installed in your Investment Dominator? Are we talking about the selling sites and the buying side? My answer would be it's not. You have to do that. You need to purchase the domains, and then you need to do the GoDaddy installation over at your end. We cannot really do that on our side, but we can help you. Is we can check if your domains are okay, if your domains are set up. And I know you mentioned, Annie, that you're not sure. I can check that for you real quick. So let me check, right? Typically, we can go over this in a ticket. You can just, submit a ticket, tell us, can you check my domains? I'm not entirely sure they're fine. And then we can do that real quick. Let me see. So, Annie, I can see your buying side is fully set up, and then it's secured. You have done every step on your buying side, but on your selling side, I'm not seeing it. So, did you already get the selling website? Do you know? I don't see your website. You're supposed to. So can you submit a ticket about it, and then we can take the time to check because I don't see your selling website set up. So unfortunately, I don't think we have the chance to go over everything on this slide call, but we can help you out absolutely. I can tell you how to submit a ticket. So the way you do that is go over to help, then create a new support ticket inside of your Investment Dominator, and then let us know what the issue is. So in your case, it would be, can you check my selling website? I'm not entirely sure it's working okay. Can you check if it's working okay? I can tell you that it's not, but you would provide, if you can provide the domain, so do you know what the domain is? Be sure to include it in your ticket. It's supposed to be this, but it's not really at this moment. So can you tell me what's wrong, and then we can assist you that way, okay? And I will be checking your case, okay, Manny? Do not worry, we will assist you with this as soon as we can. Oh, you're very welcome. It's no problem at all. Then let's see. When you get to the selling side, can you show how to configure for selling side for land only? I did figure out the buyer side, but I cannot see to change the house buying comments of the selling side default pages. You know, that's a great question, Philip. That's an excellent question. Let's take a look at it together. I think you may have to change. First off, I think I have a custom theme. So let's get rid of that theme. You know, are you using the 1.0, the legacy, or the 2.0? Do you know? I'm just going to assume you're using the 2.0, and then I'm going to save it. I think the issue here is maybe the text on the theme is mentioning houses, right? So by default, it's mentioning the houses in the page. I think that's something that I have seen before, right? Let me go to the selling side. Well, actually, you want to go to the opt-in. I think it's the opt-in, right, that has some mention of land, of houses. Let's see. Yeah, we have houses and land. You don't want that, right? You want to get rid of that mention. So the way you have to do this is you need to copy this content, right? Copy it, and then you go over to customize selling site settings, and then on the option page text, which is that text. Can you hear me? Can everyone hear me? Can you just type it in the chat if you can hear me? Oh, okay, good. That's awesome. So on the option page text part here, if it's empty, it's just going to use the default text, which is this, right? It mentions houses. So you want to copy this content, and then you space it here. But then you delete the dimensions of the housing. So we don't have houses for sale. We have land. Just delete the build your dream home. That's fine. Buy a house. You don't sell houses, so let's delete that, right? But yeah, you delete those mentions here. Logs, homes, you don't do that, right? You do all of that, and then you save it, right? You save that, and later it should be deleted from here. I'm just gonna update your page. You see how it doesn't say houses anymore. It doesn't say land. You want to copy the content of this. Click on right click and copy, or Ctrl+C, and then you want to go into your Investment Dominator, customize selling site settings, right? And then you want to head down to the section that says option page text. That's where you want to paste the text, right? And then you want to manually remove any of the mentions for houses, right? And I see I missed one, homes. So you want to manually remove all of that. If you need to make any changes, this is where we would make any changes. Let's say some of this doesn't apply to you. Well, this is where how you would change that, right? So you just copy the content of the original page, then you paste it here, and then you change the content. Then you just click on update type, and it's all going to be changed. That's it. All right. Awesome. And I see another question, a final question. How do you get to the SSL? Oh, you're very welcome. So the SSL, again, it's a free way to secure your domain. So as you can see, unfortunately, I don't have a domain that I can show you in this call. I wish I had, but if you put your domain here, by default, it's gonna be in red. It's gonna be not secure, and that's a big problem, right? You need to get the SSL set up, and if you have if you're unsure if your domain is secure, again, just submit a ticket. We can check out both sides for you, and just let us know. I'm not entirely sure if my websites are correctly secure. Can you check that for me? And we'll be happy to check. But basically, once you're doing the initial setup, what you're doing here, change your domain. You put your domain here. I think I can do that. I'm not entirely sure. But that's not really my domain, so that might be a problem. So I just press confirm. Again, this should be my domain. It's not really. So you should get your actual domain that is already set up on GoDaddy or whatever domain provider you're using. It's just going to take a bit. So that's a problem. It's actually not working because this isn't actually set up, right? You need to actually do that. So unfortunately, I cannot show you. But basically, at the end of that process, you click next and next. This is the last screen that you will get. Your domain was changed. Please use your new domain. You want to click on the button that says click here to secure your domain. And then it's going to take you to this screen that says secure your domain. Just click on generate SSL. And then that's it. Your domain will appear now secure. The way you know your domain is fine is because if you go to it, you will see a lock here that it's not red. It says it's secure, connection is secure. If it wasn't secure, it will be connection is unsafe, and all of that. This is how you know that your website is good. But if you have questions, if you're unsure, go ahead and submit a ticket. And then I will take care of, I will check for you and make sure that everything is correctly set up. All right? Awesome. So having said that, do we have much time left? I don't think so. But I want to mention, oh, you're welcome. I would like to mention to everyone, we have the setup call. Once you do all of this, you can go to help, and then we have a quick start guide. So this guide actually goes over much of what we talked today, tonight on this call, the setup, user profile, all of that. But then at the bottom, so right now we are on this section, congratulations, right? But then at the bottom of this, there's a lot of articles, user guide articles that might be very helpful. How to import a list, how to use the data service, how to import marketing contacts, how to send out the mailings, how to generate an offer package, how to customize your selling, your buying and your selling site. All of that we have articles for that you can follow. How to the different integrations that we have in the system. Remember the Actum, but we also have the data service. We also have the REI premium integration. All of that. We have this available for you to use on the quick start guide, and then we have so many more articles over at the user guide. If you go to the user guide, we have the section we have for houses, for lands, selling, integrations, automations, customization, data, live training, notes, SEO, and loan services, and all of that has a lot of articles that you can utilize to review or to get familiarized with the system, right? So if you have a question and then you want to submit a ticket, you can actually search for it yourself. So you have a question about importing land records, right? We have an article about it, right? All of this is free for you to use. The user guide is there free for you to use. So feel free to utilize all of it. And then I mentioned that the calls are recorded. If you go over to the weekly live training sessions, you can sign up for the Thursday session, which is a live Q&A session. Go ahead, come here, attend the session if you have the chance. come prepared with your questions, and we'll try to answer them all live on this call as well. And then if you want to view replays of these calls, you go ahead and click here. Unfortunately, we don't have the most update right now, but we are working on getting every call updated, right, as soon as possible. But you can basically click on it, and then you can see what was talked about on that call. Then you can go straight to that section. Let's say you're interested. This is a Monday call. You can see what minute we go ahead and generate the SSL, the domains, all of that is on that call, right? So we have this available for you to use as well. You can actually review all of this information if you want. Watch these replays, right? These are completely free for you to use, right? So anyway, again, if you have a question or an issue and you don't want to wait until the live call, go ahead and go to help, create a support ticket, so submit that ticket, and we hope to see you on the Thursday session. And I think with that, I think we only have a couple minutes left, but if we don't have any more questions, we can end the call a couple minutes early. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining the call, and we hope to see you on Thursday, all right? Take care. Bye-bye.